Good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn with Sam's Sports Report. Today's date is January 17th, 2023. Let's start off with the Kansas Jayhawks. The Kansas Jayhawks have won 3 out of 4 close games and been decided by 5 points or less. Tonight, the Sunflower Showdown, which will be, by the way, is the worst name, but it's a good rivalry maybe this year. 15-2 and ranked number 14. Meanwhile, the Jayhawks are 16-1 and ranked number 2. The game is in Manhattan. Let's preview it a bit first. Joe Lenardi has the Jayhawks as the number 1 seed overall in the NCAA tournament, which means if that happens, place to your location. For example, Kansas City would be the closest place to Lawrence for this year in the tournament. They'd be in another Elite 8 in Kansas City and also in the Sweet 16. Kansas State is number 4 seed, and we told you what they were ranked. Wilson, who scored 20 a game. Kansas State's leading scorer was Jalen Wilson tonight. Jerome Tang and Bill Self coaching matchup, maybe the newcomer of the year. Bill Self, of course, is the best basketball coach in the game today, or would be his 3rd coaching of the year. I can't believe he's got more votes. If Darius Miles was on the Alabama basketball team. He was arrested with capital murder Sunday after shooting the death of a 23-year-old woman, Jeremiah Jones, at a strip in Tuscaloosa. According to the Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit, Miles was on the Alabama basketball team and is being held without bond. The county jail suspects that Michael Lynn Davis, who was held without bond. The shooting appeared to result of minor arguments. Violent Crimes Unit, the death sentence of life in prison without parole. Both state Alabama if someone is found guilty of capital murder, although those are possible defendants in a plea argument for lesser sentence. That lesser sentence can be given in order for a prosecutor to receive a guilty plea and less serious. This is according to the TulsaNews.com. Here's a link. Now we move on to the NFL and the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers got destroyed up and down the field, with the Cowboys winning, matching up opening night where they lost pretty badly to the Buccaneers. The Cowboys did. But the Cowboys proved last night that to everyone they were much better. Dak had a big night. Brady threw for his first interception in the red zone. And after that, it looked like the Cowboys, that changed the game. Only negative thing that happened for the Cowboys is they missed 4 extra points. 31-14 was the final. Dak Prescott had an amazing game with 305 and 4 touchdowns. Cowboys ran for 128, and the Buccaneers' rushing game was not very good. Now we go to the Cardinals' head coaching job. The Cardinals need to get hired a Frank Reich or multiple challenges since his college day. And another reason we've seen him coaching adequate with the league's wildest quarterback carousel, Frank Reich should not be, in my opinion, Frank Reich should not be simply the guy, even though he's ranked number 1 in this list, because he does not start the right starting quarterback at times. Eric Bieniemy has the resume. The question is he vocal enough and able to sell himself? Sean Payton, I think, could really use this job. Kyle Murray, I think, is a better quarterback than anybody would be in the draft. The Texans' job simply doesn't have the right owner. But I wouldn't go to Denver because of Russell Wilson. He may be just too old to be good anymore. DeMarco Ryans, he's a good defensive coordinator, but can use some tutoring as a head coach. And a defensive coordinator might not be the answer for tutoring Kyle Murray. Brian Flores, I think, is a good coach. Of course, unable to get Tua Tagovailoa where he was developed, but he did make the playoffs and had some successful seasons, including 2 playoffs appearances in 2 out of 3 years. but was fired when they made the playoffs. Jim Harbaugh is my top candidate coaching now. He would leave to become a Cardinals coach if he left. He said yesterday, I'm not willing to leave Michigan, so maybe we stick with his word. Michigan has been, last 2 years in the playoffs, he has won a Super Bowl with the 49ers back when he was in the NFL. He's 59 right now, which is younger than Sean Payton. I would give him the money over Sean Payton. He's had more success over the last couple of years. And like I said, we talked about the Chiefs. We're going to get to the Chiefs right now. But Cole Hardman is not practicing. I would be questioning his work ethic. And also maybe if the Chiefs are done with him, they have moved people off the list when they're done with people. Take LaShawn McCoy, who fumbled, and they finally took him out at the very end of the season. It looked like they gave up on him. I would not re-sign Hardman if I was Brett Veach or Andy Reid. I would want to keep Juju at a lower price and find someone else maybe in free agency or hope that they get somebody in the draft. Sports Report.
If I'm Tua, I am. If I'm Tua's parents, I don't want him to. If I'm his family, I don't want him to.
What do you think will happen?
What I think will ultimately happen, I think he'll play again.
Do you think they'll play for the Dolphins again?
Yes.
And do you think he's a quarterback of the future?
I'm gonna say yes. I think he's going. I'm gonna just make a hot take and say that he's gonna be there for a while and he's going to have some success. Maybe I'm more hoping, but from what I've seen when he's played, he can play.
Do you think Tyreek Hill was right when he said he's more accurate than Patrick Mahomes?
No. I think he was just trying to be a good teammate and, pump his quarterback up, which is what he's supposed to do.
Okay, Giants and Vikings.
I'm actually going to take the Giants. I can't believe I just said that, but the Vikings have been lucky. I don't want to say lucky, but they played a bunch of close games, and the last time they played the Giants, the guy kicked a 60-something yard field goal for the win.
They're favored by 3, the Minnesota Vikings, and I took them to push. So I took them right on the line. So we'll see. I was nervous to make that pick, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's a tough one because you got. I think Minnesota's got some expectations on them, and I think the Giants have good coaching, and I think that they match up well with the Vikings. So I think Kirk Cousins makes one more mistake than Daniel Jones, and that's the difference.
Okay, we've got one more game to go, and you know who it is. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Your Dallas Cowboys
are going to win.
Is that it?
Are going to win.
They'll beat the.
Yes.
Well, you heard Skip Bayless, your fan over it.
Actually, I didn't. I haven't been watching a lot of sports talk since the Damar Hamlin thing.
Oh, were you mad at Skip?
No. I just have been really just trying to keep a lot of negativity out of my space, and with it being around Damar Hamlin's heart, and me having had some heart issues of my own, it just been kind of staying away from it for a bit.